Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to our Get Creative for September from the Suffolk Public Library. We will be doing Pointillism Portraits today. As you can see, first thing that you'll need to do is set up your space, and you'll want to make sure that you have everything that you need. You'll want some paint. I also have an option if you are not getting supplies from us and you want to still kind of participate in kind of learning the general structure of pointillism, then you can actually do this in black and white with just a pencil and paper, and then you'll want to print out your image in black and white. And you'll need a reference image for portraiture. You're absolutely welcome to do pointillism with any type of image, but today we're going to be focusing on portraits. And that can include your pet portraits too. If you don't have an image of yourself or someone in your life that you want to attempt to do in pointillism. So we'll go ahead and start. The first thing that we're going to want to do is get just a general outline, and we'll just sketch that out. So if you feel comfortable freehanding sketching it just from visually sketching it, you're welcome to do that. I'll be using just a light board, or you can place your image behind your paper that you're going to be using and put it up to a window or something to sort of make your own light board, just to make it a little bit easier to trace the big things that are happening. You know, your person's face, their shoulders, the horizon lines, if you wanted to capture exactly where these clouds are, things like that. Or in this case, the cat's face and where the box is, things like that. So we'll go ahead and get started. So go ahead and you'll do your outline, and then we will keep going from there. So once you have your outlines done, and they don't have to be exact, you are going to fill them in no matter which technique you use, either the pencil or the paint. So you can leave quite a bit open. You will be continuing to reference your reference image. I'm going to quickly show you just the pencil technique on your black and white, just in case you're joining us and you need to see the pencil. So it's going to be pretty simple. Either for your white areas, you're going to fill in very broadly, or with just very few dots, or with maybe none at all. Versus with your dark areas, you're going to fill in with quite a lot of dots with your pencil, and then of course your medium tones, kind of a medium amount. So we can go in and show, starting with maybe our really dark areas here. So like starting here on the ear, and you're going to fill in. And I would say go in kind of in a medium amount. You can always add more. It's a bit harder to erase without erasing your whole section and having to start over. Because we can always make that area darker, right? We can come back a little bit later and add even more, right? Really darken it up, which is what we would probably need to do in this area that's almost completely black. Yeah, something like that is probably what we would need. But it's a lot harder to say. And then dots like this, and then I need to lighten this about 50%. That's a lot harder to do, right? So that's what your technique is going to look like for the pencil. And the biggest thing is just getting a sense of your tones, because that's all that you get in a black and white image. So you're kind of keeping an eye on the difference in tones. This one is particularly kind of a good example because it's a a black and white cat, so you would have a lot of areas of dark black and a lot of areas of pretty light white, but some shading, some kind of light shading here, so coming right in under the chin to give some little dots here, some other little dots on the other side of the chin. Calling that, that's probably about as much as you would need on that area of the face. Little dots right around the mouth. And then really filling in, around the eyes and in the dark areas of her face. And then getting to fill in your medium tones and getting a chance to fill those in the box area and whatnot. So that's what your technique looks like if you are using just a pencil. You can also use a pen for this if you prefer. But if you're just looking to use a single writing instrument, this is also a lot more portable than having, multiple paints and potentially mixing your paints as well. So this is a lot easier to do on the go. But both of these techniques are going to take quite a bit of time. This one is going to take especially a good bit of time, mostly because there is certainly no option in getting a bigger brush and, expanding your space, right? That's why if you want to finish something kind of quickly, I recommend just picking, a small image. However, your colorful pointillism with your paints is actually going to look, I think it looks a lot better if you scale it up a little bit, just knowing that it will take a little bit longer to complete. So that's what the pencil looks like. And now let's move on to the paint. Alright, here's the time that I briefly caution you and say that if you are at all self-conscious, this is not the time to do a self-portrait. You will be looking a lot at your own face, and you really have to scrutinize it for colors. So pick a picture that you know that you're going to be happy really getting up close and personal with, really getting close to, and like really analyzing quite a lot. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. If it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable, you absolutely can thin out some of your paint with just some water and make a quick underpainting, and that just is a technique that will give you a very thin layer of like a very translucent color, and that will basically ensure that you know that you have the right color that you're working with. It's not a very traditional technique, but if it makes you feel more comfortable knowing that you have the color that you want in the areas that you want, whatever makes you feel more comfortable, I'm all for. None of us are here trying to do the capital T technique that, is going to go right up into a museum. We're here trying to get a little bit more creativity, try to have something that we're a little bit more happy with, or try a new technique. So I'm not going to do an underpainting today, but if that is something that you think might be helpful for you, I give you that as an option for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. Traditionally, you can do this with as little as just your 3 primary colors and blue. I'll also be mixing up some of basically just the secondary colors. But we will be going ahead and getting started here. And what you're going to do is you're going to start by placing essentially your medium tone colors. And you don't want to place them too close together for a similar reason that when you're doing the pencil technique, you don't want to start by placing everything too close together. We can always add more, we can't take away. and even more so when we're working with paint. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to start here just in the grasses, just to help. We'll add our reference image kind of right up here. Hopefully this focuses. And it's just going to be little dots. And you'll get a hang of how much pressure to get the effect that you want. And then dip back in for more paint as you need. And then you'll keep going. But you'll want to stop and then add in with another color. Like in this case, we can see that there's quite a lot. It's a sunset scene. There's quite a lot of yellow right here at the top of the grasses. So we'll want to add in quite a lot of yellow and even a little bit of red, since it's almost orangey. I might actually end up mixing up some orange a little later, but we'll want to add in quite a lot of yellow all the way through, since it's really that golden hour just before sunset. And coming in through here in the grasses. So don't fill up your entire space with dots with your first color. Come in, fill a little sprinkle of your first color, rinse off your brush, go in with your second color, rinse off your brush, check out your reference image, see if you feel like there are more colors that you see in here. Are you seeing any red? Are you seeing any blues in the shadows? And things like that. Add those in as you're seeing them, and then go back in and say, okay, now that I've added that, does it look right? And just keep going. Alright? I'm going to keep going, and you can get started. So just for sake of time today, we're going to stop there. Obviously, this is something that you can keep going on, you can keep adding to. We haven't completely filled it in. The little sections of white is actually something that if you did want to do your underpainting, that would help with. But it also kind of helps to have your spots where there is a little bit of lightness coming through. So I encourage you, if you haven't already signed up for and picked up your supply kit, to go ahead and do that on our website. And then we will see you again next month for the kit. Can't wait to see what you all make, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.